So Anna Ebenino and some trendy with media and super a Kennedy Acomplico Japan versus Anas Aremeyao Anas. Now a woko PM a court America. Now in some Boba say a Kennedy Acomplico Japan a loose case na say Ochia $18 million Ediama a Anas Aremeyao Anas. Now in a defamation issue just Anas Aremeyao issue a Kennedy Acomplico Japan. And some have a Tom Montaigne saying someone say Anas Areni case no when ya $18 million no no cre enya no cre na Anas Aremeyao Anas ne lawyers edin komo omankasa church ensemunum de ekoso wo court e bra Canada Company Japan e ba ye count a de ball no at the corporate bay enom kopie mu court match so mko kan ho asem a case no ye abuabo honorable Canada Company Japan yenti Anas Aremeyao Anas ne lawyers.
And you know, by law no, there was a period by which Papa no anka was or responding with what is known as an answer. But so Papa no one file response my case no call into default. Now after a period of default, you can actually go for judgment. Now a case near file, we filed on 3 counts. But I couldn't say a chrome or a chrome 4. The second one was or you would in terms of onuna or behind the medal of Yenuya Ahmed Swale. Yeah. Now the third one so say Yenuya no a serial killer in terms of Woku Chinese for Bibribi Ghana. And then the fourth one is or a criminal, the blanket word criminal. And then the fifth one by implication or say onuna behind would same biana that means say biana no a trigger man and also no will be second and say perform the physical act that led to the foreseeable events, which is obi a. So we also included a count that he is that he claims that my client a co-conspirator in multiple serial killings. So that was basically the gravamen of our complaint. And when it went on undefended after the response time now, we began to make preparations to move for judgment. But being that I was in Ghana and we are all based in Ghana, we reached within our network and we partnered with 2 brilliant lawyers who I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate. Ata Wemega Esquire, he was the father figure of the team of lawyers, and a brilliant trial lawyer by the name of Andrew Dehere. These are all brilliant Ghanaian lawyers on this case. And at that point, we recruited them as counsel of record. And the case went at that point. Kennedy's lawyers came in, obviously because near the judgment for the full $30 million. And so he had counsel, and counsel came and also did his thing. Reopen default. They argued that they had a solid defense. And I think right around then, and I almost got judgments from Ghana, almost really see it. And I know so say almost defense to a case I because New Jersey.
We need Ghana, so case no
exactly.
It's only a almost case. Okay.
So as defense against, but the interesting thing is that the defamation sits here say come back there the work for court it's a separate case.
Yeah.
It's not to mean to Ghana and from the defending way, you still have to prove the truth of it. And this time in this jurisdiction the law is the same essentially because Ghana but you sound so free other countries. There are certain times that even though of presidential value, I just said, judge into me, Jinaso, India, but we to me the two who na senior or the two more, especially in cases maybe you know decided that type of a case. And Emrano is the same as Ghana. Procedurally, there are certain nuances, sometimes in terms of certain dates, you have to do certain things by. And also in New Jersey, Emra drafted complaints. We were fully aware that we were required to prove what we were claiming by a higher standard than in Ghana.
Yeah.
Yes. In this case, and not even that. In this case, we were required to prove our case not by the normal civil standard, but by a clear and convincing evidence standard. Okay. And they responded with that, and they were able to successfully reopen the default, which paved way for them to file an answer. And they filed an answer which essentially claimed that there was some sort of back and forth between him and Anas. And, we took it for what it's worth and we forged on. And we finally got our trial date sometime earlier this year and it was postponed. And then we finally went to trial last Monday. We started trial on Monday. And we put up our case. My client testified. He testified. He brought other witnesses. And after listening to both sides, senior answer na ebe try case no the difference between what happened with Ghana and see Johannes say trial by jury into no any judge or judge back one I say judge me no one I say judge me and send a video no but normal people among the streets of New Jersey, tax-paying citizens, and from. In this case, we started off with veneer. That's the technical word for when the prospective jurors are brought in. We're from a veneer. The veneer of 60 citizens, tax-paying citizens of the state of New Jersey, specifically Newark, New Jersey, and its surroundings, were brought in, and after what is known as Boadaya, which is the process by which they are questioned to see if they have any sort of bias or anything that will stand
for Ghana for your vetiomo. Say bia
vetiomo just say obi nim asem hu bia na so onimu bia asem we fan ho ana say obi wo hwa bia nyame bi osom no So we went through all of that. That was day one. That took from area to the end of the day. And so on Tuesday, we came to court and we had our opening statements. They had their opening statements. And then we proceeded to put on our evidence. And at the close of the evidence, the jury was instructed, judge, in this case, judge, Emrano. Na Omodiama, jury, no, church, King first. No so paper inside. Aqua decide the different deliberations. Me nim there some but me sure say make us. Almost pensing okay. Okay. And there are some more about Thursday about 4:30. Yeah, the church room running now, and there are some more 4:30. Into now, I say we be an 4:30. Court right around that time, which is I believe consistent with the practice in I know it's consistent with the practice in Ghana. Into I just so take a deep breath and reflect on what has transpired during the past 4 days. And about 20 minutes later, we got word that the jury. So as part of the defense, I think it's only fair that a charges counts now the buy and the civil claims now the buy. His defense was also although Oka said it was some sort of just based banter between him and Uniano, he came to court and asserted truth as his defense. And so
time I court was say sa counting na mode bono no say on Anas back and forth, right? The only claim or making or say banter. I just say we cannot.
It's who Anas lawyers and AD and Komo Honum no omone Kevin Eko be detailer in the team Komo and any no some questions about a case saying in the city from the next step there be an echo or Mankasa church on side of the story at the property on Mujina so echo 5 video be at say Kennedy Akompeko Japan can some womb say Anas Arame Yao to say or you be at say or you corrupt to say and some bebre and okay count for Anas home and also can be and chain a Kennedy akujina match say $80 million a lawsuit or Modiabona a buabono or to associate somebody say
can't wait to and share or no they not all can say obi to be more almost tomorrow.
But all you do court there that was not
and your son of okay ura court no G2
yeah be or maintaining the position say no can or the home standing by no kind.
Okay.
Basically, remember just or practice no crane odi no onye boni bia.
Okay.
So to support that, no, or the movie you try in net to who watches a watchman. But the announced by as on only defense, and so the jury had the opportunity to evaluate that and factor that in the analysis. And obviously, it was not the weight that they wanted the jury to accord to it. So jury never bugui. And about 20 minutes later, the jury came back with a verdict, and there were a multiplicity of very quick. And there was a multiplicity of questions that were posed to the jury. That's the way how they arrived at the decision. It's and also unanimous. People who were picked off the streets of not picked off the streets of New Jersey, but they're from based on address, voter registration data. And but within 20 minutes, they saw through everything and said no. So they came back, and there was not even one juror that sided with Yapapana Samuel.
All against
8-0 on every count and on every question that was posed to the jury, including damages now about no bedu and also crown. There was a unanimous decision. I just say it was a solid decision of the jury. 20 minutes on take it on say there was no doubt in our presentation to what you kind of lay people. These are not experts in the law.
Yeah, they are just
these are lay
people who just sat and used their common sense to come to a conclusion.
No. I would not say use their common sense.
They listen to you and they listen to the other part. It makes sense though.
And then the law is the law. No judge in this world has any power to bend the law. That sort of conduct is what causes strife and war in places.
Yeah.
America had the judge actually before the judge read jury instructions, but catch jurors and say, "Oh no, only to be a and that's how it went. But what's interesting about Nisi and or a lawyer contrary, even though people don't give him credit for that.
At least Bonidina Anas Asemna working.
But Anas, Anas. And also a very astute lawyer, and some people walk cry a car on Jim Tumu, but sometimes a team of legal team to will come to a compromise. Now, he has been adamant about clearing his name because I have a personal experience of understanding. It's one of the worst things that can happen to someone.
Yeah.
And he absolutely took the position there. He wanted a trial. He's not interested in any settlement. He's not here for the money. He's here to clear his good name that he has built over time. And in his profession, at this time, Anka also started doing one. So he always maintained that he wanted a trial to the point where sometimes there was a disagreement in the legal team. Now, procedurally, America, the peace. Schedules there, and from this time to this time, staff that work out we are dedicating it to your case. It's no small matter.
I know. I've been there. It's not easy.
Before they will go to trial, there's mandatory settlement conference. I better say at this maybe by this time we'll be say grown or they'll commit to the right senses and decide say this shouldn't go on because yes. And I acquire unfortunately me and Anas disagreed with me, but I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million, just like the jury came back. As you know, these days we have all kind of tools that we can use to predict certain things.
Before you go ahead, this is where the contention is, and people saying 80 million, others saying a year 30 million. Now, when you read,
well, we'll come to that. Let me clarify. Let me just clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, complaint near the coin. Yeah, claim for $30 million, $30 million.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. And what I'm saying is that at the before the mandatory settlement conference, or before the jury is empaneled, even though my client had firmly informed me he had no intention of settling this case because he believes that he ought to go to a jury of his peers to clear his name. But maybe let's just prepare our settlement memorandum, be thorough and be reasonable.
Yeah.
And even though he protested, I prepared a settlement memorandum that sought to settle this case for $18 million US. Okay. Now you do settlement conference, papa about court. Now the lawyers just say what he was willing to settle this matter for, and they said $10,000. So honestly,
it's clarification is very, very important. Normally Ghana.
Okay.
Into Muko Drew Hono. And that's initially you have a kind of simple street language, and the damages are not paid around $30 million. And the client and Anas Kasa say a woman saw for $30 million, and yes, he can't all pay. In fact, he wants his name to be cleared, and then the priority of going to court.
Yes.
But because of the experience, now unim CB and your material, no client here Anas Kasa and say it will be better and to be reasonable to at least settle on $80 million. And I'll say, no client and us, you did not really agree, but because he respects you as his counsel and as a lawyer, you people ended up around that money, around that figure, which is $80 million.
Oh yes, and like I said, your lawyer at Awemega, New York.
Oh, yeah.
And also come and Andrew D here.
Yeah, you are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Wemega is there.
Yes,
D here is there. Crow is there. Yourself. Basically, as we are speaking to, we are speaking to all of them because.
Yes. So the whole team agreed on that, but he was the only reluctant one in settling the matter. But procedurally, we couldn't go to trial without actually going through to the settlement conference.
Yes.
In spite of his reservations, we still almost cut our demand down to about a little over half.
Okay.
But to our surprise, papa no buy and also no bet $10,000 to end the case.
No.
I want an arbitrator who said no. I some way he's saying I'm sure so I can papers no. So he said basically go and take your gamble in the courtroom. So that's how we ended up going to trial. So like to go back to how it ended. So at about 4:50 on Thursday. And the jury brought us in and they told us what unanimously what they had arrived at. But we decided to keep it under wraps because there was a component you multiply 18 million by 5 money do 90 million for a total of about
that was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah, because
to do that. Okay.
Yes. And then you decided to say back to your board with coming public with the finding of culpability on Thursday.
Yeah.
We ended up leaving that alone. A pursuit of ×5 because almost file emotions be I just say or see a two in terms of that and sana say one way or another I be pursue that ×5 and I say depending on what happens, maybe I bit me German and cafe. But at this time, almost my court no say almost be busa into swore.
Okay. So at this point, my court who say beba 80 million or almost pentiswo. How many days do they have to file that?
Okay. So at this point, the next thing that's going to happen is that there's going to be a paper. A judgment. I just say court reading seal better so.
Yeah.
That would take a few days, and then after that, I believe there's a 5-day rule that's within which you can file that motion. So a motion, matese binu kasa appeal by nya appeal depending on how that motion goes, no, we would get a chance. We may get a chance to attempt to get our times 5 of that 18 million, or a big jam and a. So depending on how that motion goes, no.
So for now,
yes.
18, no, Obintiminka said that is the end of the case. It depends.
No, it's not because hypothetically, so much to grab back 10, we still have the opportunity to go for times 5.
That is 50. Okay.
Yeah, into the extra 50 plus. Yeah, hypothetically, so much to back 10, we can go for another times 5.
You as a Ghanaian,
it's no any sama Anas Areme yawa Anas any lawyers Omoni Kennedy akompreko Agyapong case a work court no na Kevin Ekobedi Taylor ebusebusa lawyers no ho ensem na omoyishi ni na no e wo honom no aha Dowona TV chirwadwen e comment section